foreign, yeah. They see the wave and try to flow on me, cause Uncle Demi with the bills and feeling right now. Come here to pioneer. I bring the light to the deepest secrets of different bills. At Uncle Demi, you need it, I got it listed here. You wanna make it, I'll show you just how to make it here. I got all the rarest bills, and I ain't done yet. We're from the finish to making bills like a prospect.
Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is your man, Uncle Demi, and today I have another banger for you. And not just any type, man. I got a special player that I'm pretty sure maybe 90% of y'all don't even know about. Pistol Pete Maravich. Now, for some of y'all that know who he is, then this right here is just going to be like, yeah, man, obviously, you know, like I was waiting for this one. Because the fact is, you look at him right now, 95 overall, right? And if y'all don't know who Pistol Pete Maravich is, y'all need to go ahead and pull it up and just pull your phones out and Google Pistol Pete Maravich, right? And I'm just going to just real quickly just kind of tell you who this man was and just give you how impactful and how great this guy was, right? Now, his career ended very, very briefly. He only played 10 years in the NBA, but the reality is he only really had like 7 solid seasons. He had really bad knees and it derailed his career. But if you ever watch basketball, college basketball, you're going to see this man in all record books, right? He's the all-time leading scorer, average-wise, in NCAA. And he's the all-time points leader. I mean, he scored the most points ever in NCAA in just 3 years. Now, keep in mind, when he played, this is how you're really going to appreciate it. When he played in college basketball, my nephews and nieces, you could not play as a freshman, right? So believe it or not, he scored over close to 4,000 points, like 3,600 points in just 3 years. He averaged like 44 points a game in just 3 years. But it gets even better. Check this out. There was not even a three-point line back then. So he averaged 44 points a game with no three-point line. But it gets even better. There was not even a shot clock back then. So keep in mind, you could theoretically, and which happened a lot back then, get the ball and hold it for a whole quarter with no penalty. There was no 24-second shot clock. Teams could literally go down on offense and dribble the ball around for 4 minutes with no penalty. And he averaged 44 a game. He scored 3,600 points, right? He's the most prolific scorer in NCAA history, all right? So we already know how great he is in college basketball, right? When he came into the NBA, he would be the original OG of white chocolate, right? He would be the original OG of Allen Iverson. He came into the league. He was the showman. He was the main attraction in the NBA. Everybody wanted to see Pistol Pete Maravich. He was the one that was doing the no-look passes. He was the one that was doing the dribbles between the legs, behind the back, throwing the ball behind his back, behind his head. He was the showman of all showmen. He was the one that everybody wanted to go watch and see in the NBA. So Pistol Pete Maravich literally is one of the greatest players to ever play the game, but his career was derailed tragically because of his knees. If his knees would have stayed healthy and he would have played just the minimum of a great guy like him, he would have played 15 years in the league, he would be arguably considered one of the greatest guards to ever play. And if you can just look at his rating, 95, come on, you understand how hard it is for 2K to give out 95 ratings, right? So, you know, they just don't just give 95 ratings out, but look at his stuff, man. Now, look, mid-range is a 95, three-point shots 95. And you're probably thinking like, yo, there was no three-point line. So how does he have a 95 three-point shot? Well, check this out. So a guy actually went back and watched Pistol Pete Maravich collegiate basketball games. And he tallied one of his seasons for every single shot he did that he considered would have been a three. Pistol Pete would have averaged 57 points a game for a career, right? So he was considered the first long-range shooting guard in college basketball and in NBA. Believe it or not, they did not implement the three-point line for him until I think it was his last season. So in 79-80 is when they actually implemented the three-point shot, right? So he played all of his NBA games without a three-point shot too. So just keep in mind, like, we're talking about a generation right before we started to change over what I considered modern basketball. We had like the modern day rules, right? So you had a three-point shot, a 95, right? And you know the ball handling is going to be a 95. Like I said, Pistol Pete, what dribbled the left hand, the right hand, between the legs, behind the back, crossovers, you name it. He was the first one to do that. Keep in mind, this was unheard and unseen before Pistol Pete came into the league and Pistol Pete became into college basketball. They consider that showboating. So what you see now with the Allen Iversons, or what you see now currently with Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, and all these guys that can really dribble the ball, that was showboating back there. He used to get benched because of stuff like that. But he continued to do it. He pushed the NBA forward. This is a transitional type guy, right? So I'm not trying to get too long-winded on this, but I just want to understand how great this guy was, right? And you need to go look it up. If you want to go watch a movie, just type in Pistol Pete, right? And The Pistol is a movie called The Pistol about his 8th grade year, right? He's in 8th grade playing varsity basketball. That's how great he was. But you got to look it up, man. This guy's crazy, right? But anyway, obviously, defensively, there's not much here. You have to worry about that defensively. That wasn't something he really cared about. He was a showman. You see his numbers. And of course, if you go to the badges, all right, you already see the shooting is going to be off the chart, right? And then also you can see his playmaking is going to be off the chart. Flashy passer, of course. Like I said, he was a showman. He used to throw some of the craziest passes. If you look at his highlights, he would throw so many behind the back passes, so many behind his head. Like he would throw he'll do like a between the leg. I mean, anything you think of, he did, man. If you ask Magic Johnson said this is the guy he emulated his game after, right? So Magic Johnson loved watching Pistol Pete Maravich when he was going through the college ranks, right? And being able to see him. Now, you can see if you see what Pistol Pete do, you can see like, dang, like Magic Johnson was doing the same things, right? So there's always somebody that watching somebody that they got to pick it up from. Magic Johnson got this from Pistol Pete Maravich, right? So obviously, as you can tell, it's these two pie charts that we're going to try to look at to try to emulate this guy. All right. So, of course, let's go ahead and head over to my favorite location on NBA 2K20, the My Player Builder. All right. So let's hop right into it. So, of course, you know, Pistol Pete played point guard / shooting guard, but for the most part, he was considered a shooting guard for obvious reasons. He was right-handed. He was number 7. Okay. Now, the pie chart that I decided to go with was obviously the playmaking and the shooting. There's just not really much else you can really think about. The only other option you really had was just the pure playmaking, but his shooting was just too low, right? So if you have it here, you kind of get the best of both worlds. So that is the one that I went with, okay? Again, I usually go with the vert and speed, but in this case, obviously, Pistol wasn't known much for his jumping. So I went with the most speed that you can possibly get. So that's why I went with the top physical profile that gave you the most speed, right? And then from here, what you want to do is you want to max out all these, all right? So you want to max this all out, right? And the reason why we want to max this all out is because we want to get the 10 finishing badges. And then from here, you want to max out everything, of course, here, right? And then drop this down to get straight to 22. Then, of course, you want to max all these top 2 out, and then you want to drop this down to 78. That'll give you right at 21, all right? And then you want to go ahead and do your perimeter defense, your lateral quickness, and just your steals. Now, obviously, like I said, Pistol didn't have any defensive badges, so we want to go ahead and make sure we emulate that by just giving him 1. But then, of course, you know, he was prolific in the playmaking and shooting aspects, all right? Now, before I start talking about attributes, let's just look at the badges. 10, 22, 21, and 1, right? So you're looking at 20, 40, 50, 2, 3, 4. So 54 badges, right? Which is ridiculous, right? That is, obviously, that's nowhere near what Pistol had, but 54 badges is just ridiculous, all right? Just off rip to have 54 badges to work with, right? Before we talk about attributes, let's just get his height and weight in real quick. So, you know, I just picked slight because he was a slight individual. Of course, it said he was 6'5", 197. So let's go 6'5", 197. And then let's lower the wingspan all the way down just to get the ball handling up and his 3-point shot. You're not going to be able to have a 95 ball handling, 95 3-point shot, and 95 mid-range. You're just not going to be able to get that. But that's just how prolific he was. His pass accuracy also was a 93 or something like that. So, I mean, his playmaking and shooting were off the charts. We're not going to be able to get that, but this is the best that we can do, right? 87, 88. Now think about it. You have 88. That means you'll be able to get 92 3-point shot, which is really close, right? And then a 91 mid-range shot, which is really close. He had a 95 ball handling. You'll be able to get a 91, right? So we're really close to getting his shooting and playmaking to where it needs to be, all right? The cool thing about this build is you're 6'5", so you're not short. Most guards are 6'3", 6'4", so you're gonna be a taller guard. You're gonna be able to speed boost off rip. You're also gonna have 10 finishing badges, which I'm gonna show you exactly what you need to get. And then his perimeter defense is not bad, but at the same time, like I said, you can play defense if you have the perfect team around you. Obviously, with this guy, I would definitely want to have a lockdown at my 2 spot, so you can guard the ball and I can just play corner. Like I do the offense, my man, and you do the defense. All right, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stay in the corner and watch. I'll make sure I don't get backdoored. You know, threes get on me. You just worry about getting beat up by them screens and stuff, and then on offense, I'll go ahead and let me shine on offense. All right. Now, this is where things get a little tricky, all right? You can go between all three of these, man. If you want to get playmaking, go ahead and get playmaking, because Pistol was a ridiculous ball handler and playmaker. He also was a ridiculous shot creator, and he can shoot from long range. So then the question is being, how do you play? What is your game style? And right now, a lot of individuals hide behind the screens, spamming behind the back, and doing spot-up shots, right? So that's what I'm going to go with. Let's go with the spot-up shooter, right? And there you have it. Offensive threat, Pistol Pete Maravich at the top. You cannot, I mean, listen, guys. Really excited about this. Maybe it's just the old head in me, but Pistol Pete Maravich, come on, man. Pistol Pete Maravich, man, is actually in the game. Come on, let's go. Let's test this out real quick. Let's get this guy to 99. All right. Come on. All right, so we're going to give him the 99. And now we're going to mess around with these badges. Now, Pistol Pete used to go, he went to the basket a lot, all right? So what I'm thinking about doing is going contact finisher. You definitely want to get the Acrobat because you're going to be going, doing a lot of Euro steps. The last but not least, there's 3 badges that I think will be really, really good here, right? Fancy footwork, Giant Slayer, and Slithery Finisher. We can't do it all, right? So then what I'm thinking about doing is just going ahead with getting Giant Slayer, because that's something that'd be really, really good to have, obviously. And if you wanted to, you can kind of go here because you. But then again, though, it's like, I don't know. The reason why Giant Slayer is good, but it's like, how often do you have a big in the paint when you're ISOing, right? Or you're at the top. So that's why I'm thinking like, let's not waste that, right? And then let's go here, right? Slithery Finisher, Fancy Footwork would be really 2 good badges to have, just because you're going to be going to the paint. You can do some Euro steps, hop steps, and get straight to the basket, right? So that's what I think will be good for Pistol Pete Maravich. He did obviously have Gold Acrobat, so we added the Gold Acrobat, right? Now, when it comes here, you definitely want to get your Quick Draw Hall of Fame, your Range Extender Hall of Fame. You want to get your Volume Shooter. Let's get that gold. You want to get your Green Machine on gold. You want to get your Hot Zone Hunter on gold. You don't have to worry about catch and shoot because you're going to be doing your own catching and shooting, all right? Just because, you know, obviously you're the point guard, so you don't really have to worry about catch and shoot. And then I think you should go and get your Deadeye on gold, all right? Now from here, it's all about preference. But for me, I'm going Hot Zone Hunter Hall of Fame, right? And Green Machine Hall of Fame, right? Volume Shooter's gonna be good too, but I think this right here is definitely Pistol Pete right here, man. Hide behind the screens, you know, ISO up, get open, bang, right? Once you start shooting a couple shots, your shot percentages go up, your Green Machine kicks in, you're in your hot zones. I mean, it's OP, right? Any type of shots that someone actually gets in your face, you got deep range on gold. So I think this will be perfect for Pistol Pete Maravich. Of course, this is your build. You can do it any way you want to. But to me, I feel like you can't go any better than these, all right? Now, playmaking, you know I've ripped. You got to get your handles for days and your quick first step. These 2 you have to have. That's just, it is what it is, right? Now, when it comes to anything else, you want to get your tight handles on gold. You want to get your unpluckable. I say just get unpluckable on silver. It's just really, you get plucked all the time, but just having on silver would be good. Obviously, he had every single badge in here. He had Flashy Passer, he had Needle Threader, he had it all, right? We're not gonna do all that, right? What I'm gonna say is go ahead and get your Dimer on Hall of Fame, because that's just something that your guys or your team is definitely gonna need, all right? With these last badges, it's really all about preference, okay? So, Space Creator is a really good one, right? Needle Threader is a really good one. Ankle Breaker, Bailout. Don't need to do Flashy Passer, because obviously if you're trying to get rep, then Flashy Passer and Lob City Passer is good. But let's just say you're not trying to do rep, you're just trying to you know, play. I say go Floor General Hall of Fame, right? So now you're gonna give a +4 to everybody, and you're gonna be able to have your Dimer to be able to help everybody out. That's gonna be a really good lineup here, man. I think this is gonna be really good, right? that's just, but again, this is what I'm thinking about Pistol Pete. But if you wanted to go elsewhere, by all means, go ahead. All right. And then of course, defensively, just go ahead and get clamps. There's not really much you can do about it. And plus, if you running with this build and you playing defense, you should be pissed the whole time, complaining like, bro, switch, get on the guard, man. Let me go in the corner. All right. But yeah, my nephews and nieces, I done blessed you with Pistol Pete Maravich. I gave you a history background. Hopefully you learned something today. That's what's really big. Did you learn something today, man? All right. If you did, please drop that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed to the channel. As you know, we're making a massive push for 11K, right? So let's just try to get that 11K before the end of this year. That would be great. But other than that, you know, my nephews and nieces, you know what I'm going to continue to do is grind for y'all, man. And hopefully y'all continue to show some love and support for me. And hopefully y'all appreciate what I'm doing. And of course, you know, your man Uncle Demi will be back really, really soon with another banger. And you know, when I say I'll be back really, really soon, you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about tomorrow, man. I'm out.
Try to bring me down, see me winning. You ain't like me then, no you ain't me now. All of them coppers tried to